in the cloud. So we will be recording it, and subsequently it will be available on YouTube for everybody to see. We have planned an interesting program. We've been working on this for about 6-7 months, and you will hear from Rotarians from about 10 different EClubs from around the world. Some of them are with us here in person. Others are with us here virtually. And so we will guide you through that. We will have a Q&A session with it also. And we have 2 runners in the room that have a device in which you can ask your question. There is Kitty in the back over there, and there is Myra to my right over there. When you have a question, raise your hand. They will come to you, and you please ask your question, keep it short, and speak into the camera because we can see you too. So, without further ado, before we start, please turn off your cell phones. Put it either in airplane mode or turn them off completely. We're relying on internet functionality. Luckily, we were able to wire us all here in, which I'd been requesting in the past, but didn't get done until 15 minutes ago. And it will help us with that, but please turn it off because bandwidth is at a premium when you have this many people in a building like this too. Our first presenters are going to be talking about starting and continuing an EClub. And I'd like to introduce William Bogle from the EClub of Atitlan Panajagel, and he will pronounce it better. And Philip Zimmerman from the EClub of South Louisiana. Take it away. Phil, you're on.
Okay, very good. Are we, okay, you go ahead and.
Share the screen. You have the screen up here. He has to share it. You have to turn it off. Share.
Are we good? All right. I'm Philip Zimmerman. I'm going to be talking about getting an EClub started. I'm with E-Rotary Coastal Club in South Louisiana. We're in District 6200. The first activity that is involved in getting an EClub started is to develop a core group, start a core group, and develop a team for social media and web hosting platforms. And this was done for us. Before I even joined the EClub, I was in a land-based club, and this was done before I got there, but it was very important that you develop a team for social media development and web hosting platforms. Then what you next want to do is you want to recruit your speakers and your members concurrently as you're getting your EClub started. And then we happen to launch our particular club on a Thursday noon club, and we meet every 2 weeks. If you'd like to, the platform we chose was join.me, which was a internet-based hosting platform. We are now using zoom.us. We used join.me for a little over a year. And it was sufficient for what our needs were, but we have found the technology zoom.us, which we're actually using for this particular meeting as well, to be a far superior product to The chartering and induction for your EClub. First thing that obviously you need to do in regards to Rotary International is to establish a constitution and bylaws, which we did. We submitted our constitution and bylaws to the district for their review and their comment. Once we received those back with their suggestions for our constitution and suggestions for our bylaws, we then incorporated as an entity, and we incorporated as E-Rotary Coastal Club. And our actual designation by Rotary is EClub of South Louisiana. And that was the designation given to us in our charter. We then recruited our members. By the time we had actually started this process of doing the legal, we had about 15 members already recruited. Once we got the constitution and bylaws back, we were able to finish our last 5-member persons to get into the club to make it to 20. We submitted our paperwork to the Rotary District, and it went up to Rotary International, and we were awarded a charter on June 28, 2017. The next issue that we had to cross was how do we induct our officers, given that we were a brand new club, a virtual club from the district. And so we weren't being sponsored by any other club as far as being a satellite club or something like that. And so we were a brand new club. And so we invited the district officers to our induction ceremony, and they came and they inducted myself and the other 3 club officers, as well as, and then we turned around at that same meeting, and the officers then inducted the members to the club. And that's pretty much how we got it going. I'll turn it over to Will to take it from here.
I'm Dr. William Vogel. While he's setting up slides, I'm from the EClub of Lake Atitlan, Panajachel, Guatemala, and we're in Central America. And we incorporated in 2012. And I'm going to talk about a few of the experiences and some of the best practices that we've learned to do as we've been around for 6 or 7 years. Here we go. Thank you. First, I'd really like to thank all the Canadian hosts here in Toronto. Thank you. It's awesome to be here, and we're glad to be participating here in Canada. And thank you to Peter Denoy for organizing this. Put a lot of work into it. We have a actual 20-member club that consists of 6 Guatemalans, 10 Americans, 1 Frenchman, I forgot to mention, a Canadian who's here in the room, and an Australian. And we have 7 women and 12 men. And one of the features of our club is we formed to be an E-Club because the Lake Atitlan area is very difficult to get around and physically meet. So we wanted to have digital presence of people who were across the lake or up on a mountain and they couldn't come to the meeting physically. It has expanded to an international club. It wasn't the original intent, but we have found that many of our Canadian and North American visitors who come down to Guatemala and maybe winter have joined the club. And when they spend the last 8 to 10, 12, 11 months up north, they attend online. So they're there physically part of the time, and often online for the rest of the year. We do have a physical meeting. So in that sense, we are a hybrid club. The few bodies that are there meet every Thursday in Panajachel. And we do have some of the local typical activities like socials. We do local outreach projects, and we're very active in the district with district and global grants. So most of the time, we are digital, but we also meet physically. And there's nothing wrong with setting your own club presence and priorities. That's one of the strengths of Rotary. You can do what you need to do locally. One of the sets of best practices that we found as a relatively small club, just 20 people, is we incorporated with 28 people back in 2012. And immediately the numbers of people went down in half to 14. We didn't have a theme. We didn't have a real focus. So after being at 14 members for 3 years, we set a theme. We're on Lake Atitlan. We have a lot of environmental challenges to that. So we set a water and sanitation theme to environmentally approach some of the local challenges of our own lake that we're named after. So that grew the club to 21 members right away. In 2 months, we had 7 new members because we set a theme. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about, a theme that keeps your digital club focused and united. Each time we make a grant proposal, we have created our own menu. We have gone around our area of high need. Guatemala is a very poor country. A lot of the immigrants in this country are Guatemalans down at the border because there's no economy there. And we actually have created this menu of local projects. The club votes on it, we vet it, we budget it. And so when another Rotarian comes from Ottawa or a Rotarian visits from anywhere in the world, we have program and vetted projects in all 6 areas of Rotary that they can select from. So we have our proactive menu always available. And when we come here and we go to our Central American project fairs, anywhere I go around the world, I have my list of menu approved projects. And so people can read that and quickly say, I like that, let's connect. We have a grant shepherd. I will not make a grant proposal in our club without someone saying, I am dedicated to that grant for the next 1 to 3 years. I will shepherd that grant, which means I will work with the North American or Canadian club that's funding it. I will help answer questions. I will make sure the quarterly reports get done. I will make sure we close this grant. And that person takes some private and individual ownership and is proud of it. This is my grant and I'm helping get it done. And so I, as president, am not fully immersed in all 7 grants we have. We have 7 shepherds that run each grant. We are proactive. We've created our vision, Save the Lake. Every time we visit any other club, regional projects, district projects, and even programs like this, we have our menu available. And when I say visit other clubs, if you have digital members around the world, they can go to the local established traditional clubs in your area and present your menu. They show off that menu, and a lot of clubs around the world say, we have love to do an international program. We would love to do an education or water and sanitation program, but we don't know where and how. We don't have the contact in Guatemala. If you go to them with your menu, you will find a lot of cooperation. And I'll show you in a minute what happens when you do that. So we show off our club to others. We encourage our members to visit clubs anywhere in the world and look at what we've already approved. And that has been successful. And how? Well, we have opened and closed 6 global grants in the last 4 years for $450,000. That's with 19 people. We have 20 now. $100,000 was in district grants with just MOUs that we signed that are a lot easier to run, as you all know, because it just requires a host club and a district to send you that money, and then you sign off as club president. And you implement it, and you're transparent, and you send the receipts, and then clubs want to work with you again. Simply being responsible and finishing strong is half the battle in Rotary. We have 4 new global grants in 2018 in the last 2 months. This works. People say, I like that program, let's do it. You have your act together. I have an international grant program that doesn't know where to send the money. So that money is there. Rotary has a lot of resources all around the world, and that's why we're together. We're networking, we're sharing. But I'm on the high need end, and I know where to go to help share that, and you can do the same. So it isn't that hard to process these kind of grants, even as a virtual club, if you have your shepherd. make sure you have that responsible person to finish the program. I also say, consider a 2-year presidency. We've had 3 2-year presidents. When you're a theme club and you have a special focus, it's a little easier to continue that focus when you have a 2nd year. You know, you're a theme and you don't want to change the theme too often and change the people too often. My suggestion would be consider changing your bylaws to a 2-year presidency to follow through on the programs you vetted, you got started as president, you want to see them finish. And it has worked for us, and I just, I'm glad to share a few comments about how EClubs can be very active, but small, lean, and mean. So thank you for listening. Are there any questions from the audience? Yes, yes, sir.
You can make your question here. Speak here.
Yes, I'm Tintin Rashid from District 7610. And I formed the club 3 years ago and it's doing very well. My question is, are you allowed to form new e-clubs?
It's hard with the echo here. Oh, sure. You can form new e-clubs. You can call it what you want and be virtual or like us speak to and be hybrid. You can set your own type of club meeting that you prefer.
I thought that at the last Council on Legislation, they made this ruling that no new clubs be formed. That's what I was told.
You can be online, set your form. Maybe they don't want you to call it an e-club, but you can certainly be a digital club. As a matter of fact, Rotary wants all clubs to have a digital presence. They want more online presence. They want more virtual meetings. And that's where we're going, is more technology. And what is that going to do? That also brings in savvy young new members, and all that's good.
I'm more interested in how the infrastructure is put in place, because we want to move towards a electronic meeting.
So you just choose a platform. We use GoToMeeting. He's interested in some of the technical aspects, infrastructure, how to make it work. So we use a GoToMeeting platform. It's fairly simple. It doesn't require a high-tech person to run it. And Zoom is also another commonly used one. You have the choice of recording your meeting, and then people can attend when they want to later on. They can watch the meeting and attend. So that you can have a lot of members who might not physically be able to be in your club who can attend digitally. That's important to get a usable, functional platform. We've improved our platform by getting an HD webcam and a better antenna, and the experience has gotten better in the last year or two in our club for being online. Is that what you're looking for? Okay, we'll do that after. Thank you.
Hey, thanks very much for the first presentations, and now turn it over to Rethink Rotary. And well, we have a little bit of a dilemma because one of our, are you walking to the front, Gucci? We have Gucci Akme from the EClub 1, the original EClub in Rotary, and him and Michael Henstra from EClub of One World 5240 will be talking to Rethink Rotary. So, are you going to handle it over there, or Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm using my own now anyway. Okay. I'd like to introduce Bucci and Michael.
Ah, how's that? Is that better? Can you all hear me now? Okay, well. How about now? Too much echo?
Okay. Hello. Okay. So I'm Bucci Abe, current president for Rotary Club 1, one of the first, or rather the first E-Club, but one of the first to be chartered as part of the cyber project, which was the forerunner to E. Okay. Hello? Is that better? Okay, good. So I'm the current president of Rotary E-Club 1, the club that started the movement that we're all part of. And our club was formed by Rotary Club of Boulder because they were trying to solve a need, looking for ways to make Rotary more flexible to people needing flexibility who are not able to, either because of work or some of that life situation, to do Rotary in the way it was traditionally done, meaning come to meeting at a particular place, same time, same day, every week. And after a 2-year effort, they succeeded in getting our right to charter our club. But as the discussions were going on, many other people jumped on. So at the time, in the year we were chartered, there were several other clubs that were chartered as part of the cyber project, which less than 3 years later changed into E-Clubs as we know them, and the evolution until. Oh, okay, sorry, that might be, yeah. Okay, so so over the course of the years, our clubs have evolved. At the inception in 2002, most of our members were based in the same location, in the same district. That's District 5450, which is in Colorado, with one member being outside of that district, living in Australia. But over the years, it's evolved. We have fewer of our members living in Colorado right now. We have more of our members living outside of the United States. Right now, we have members in over 15 countries. We're represented in virtually every time zone. So as you would imagine, that would make meeting difficult. We don't have a time zone to say this is the time we meet. We require all members to come online at this time for us to meet. So how do we solve that problem? We meet in an asynchronous manner, meaning we don't have to all be online at the same time. Generally, our meetings start on a Wednesday and runs till the following Tuesday. So we have a different host each week. So on Wednesday, someone goes online, sets up the meeting prompts. The secretary announces that the meeting has started. And over the next 7 days, at your convenience, you walk into the meeting and take part of it. So we have members who just walk in once and then they read. And we have members who, walk in several times, contribute severally. Now, we do have periodic synchronous meetings. That's our club assembly. The frequency has changed over the years. Initially, it was every month, but that wasn't working for everybody because those who come to us needing flexibility. So if we're trying to structure them into what they're trying to get away from, we lose them. So we reduce that frequency to quarterly, and we still try to do that. And every quarter, we tend to vary the time to move it so that it would be convenient for some members, because there's no time we can pick that will be convenient for everybody at the same time. It's always night time for someone. It's always an inconvenient time for someone somewhere. However, it's a different situation for our board members. We believe those of us who have agreed to be on the board have signified that we are willing to, you know, to be, to accept a little bit more inconvenience. Yes? You don't hear me? Oh, okay. So we believe that those who have agreed to be on the board are willing to be inconvenienced a little bit. So our board meetings are monthly. It's on a Wednesday. And since we all scattered around the world, we use Colorado time, since that's the district we belong to, just to make it fair to everyone concerned. So 2 p.m. on the second Saturday of the month, Colorado time. So that makes it easy, though not for the board members, but just for timing's sake. And our board meetings are open to our members to attend. So from time to time, we have some members attended, but you would see why we're having board meetings. Someone is about to go to bed. Someone just got up from, you know, sleep. So it's pretty interesting, you know, but we tend to try to make it work. Like I mentioned, it's evolved over time. And like every other Rotary Club, you know, we have projects also. However, in the traditional sense of it, where you have club projects that you have all your members coming to the same location to do the project or coming to the same location to plan, that's not for us. It doesn't happen for us. So or rather, I tend to use the word club-sponsored projects, meaning we identify projects, members identify projects in communities where they live. They bring it to the board, we discuss it, and through a grant system, the club supports such a project with the member serving as the project champion for that project. So we have multiple grant styles. We have our disaster grants that are meant to be used in scenarios where there's been any kind of disaster to help people to recover. So for that grant, we usually prefer to identify individuals who have slipped through the cracks in that community, not people who the government would ordinarily have helped, but people who, for one reason or the other, might not have been able to access other fundings that would help people who had such scenario. The other type of grants we have are the small grants and the large grants. Our small grants are usually valued at $500 to $1,500. They are meant for small community projects. It could be just scholarship. It could be to help the local food bank or anything of sort. And then we have the large grants. That's for all grants that are above $2,500. So in all these scenarios, we usually encourage our members to work with a local organization. Now we prefer a Rotary Club in the community, but it's not a must. Any organization in the community, because we want to be sure that there's local content, and that after the project is done, that if it's something that needs to be sustained, that it's sustainable. So, still not hearing me back there? Oh, sorry, my voice tends to fade out. So it's been, for a club our size, and we are about 75 right now. We have most of our members being people who've been part of Rotary for a couple of years before they come to us. And we also have a few who are new to Rotary. Now, one thing I would say, I've been part of EClub 1 for 10 years. And in the time I've been there, I've noticed something, that the EClub projects is not for everyone. There are people who come to us, and after coming to us, they realize that they miss the person-to-person interaction. And when we discover that, we help them to navigate them back to a local club. And yeah, people who come to us, this is especially those who are new to Rotary, who find that trying to learn about Rotary, where there's nobody in your community to interact with, that it's difficult also. Those ones, some we lose before we realize that's a problem. But for those that we realize early enough, we also try to see if we could get them a mentor also. So there are challenges, obviously, when you are not in the same community, that it's not like you could drive to Mr. A's house, knock on the door and find out why they've not been participating in the meeting. The only options you have is to call on the phone, send emails, and there are times when you could do that on and on, and you wouldn't know why a member is not responding. But you can only do it for so long. After a while, you just have to take that name off the roll if you're not getting there. So those are some of the challenges that we have as EClub 1. And in the last 2 years, we've been trying to reinvent ourselves by looking at the newer EClubs and seeing what they are doing that we're not doing, and trying to incorporate that in the way we work. Thank you.
I can start talking anytime. Can everybody hear me? My predecessors are a bit long-winded, so now I don't have as much time as I had anticipated. Plus, my notes are on my computer. So we're going to do a little interaction here. How many people in this room are members of an EClub? Oh, well, that's outstanding. I had no idea. Well, one of the things that I learned now, I've begun my 39th trip around the sun as a Rotarian. So I have over 38 years as a Rotarian, and I can assure you that in 1980, there was no such thing as technology with regard to Rotary, but we have come a long way. The very first thing that Rotary did was they had a bulletin board, and if you had a 1200 baud modem, you could download the Rotary News Basket. Anybody remember the Rotary News Basket? By golly, there are some. I'm amazed. Well, I am the president of the Rotary EClub of One World, and I'm finishing my second consecutive term, and I'm about to have the distinct and coveted position of past president soon, next week. I've also served as president in the 1980s time, so the contrast is amazing. But one thing I have learned when I transferred to the Rotary EClub of One World in 2014 is that you can have a lot more fun in Rotary as an EClub member. Sometimes you don't have to go to these meetings that get to be boring sometimes, but not only that, but look at these great folks I have met over the course of getting involved with an EClub, especially my fellow geek friend Martin Brocklebank in the UK. Give him 2 thumbs up, Martin. Yeah. Martin is my buddy when it comes to these. You see, he's got a great Zoom background. He and I have been having a competition to see who have the best Zoom background, and Martin always wins. But anyway, you can have, in fact, if you're not having fun in Rotary, you're doing something wrong. So this is one way not only to have, see? See, Martin's changing the background. Good. Attaboy. We had a competition to see who had the best background and green screen, so we could do that. But you can't, not only that, but we, in my club, we not only hold our occasional weekly meetings, occasional Rotary meetings, but we also have our board meetings, and we can do that because we have 71 members on 6 continents. That makes it kind of problematic, especially with time zones and that sort of thing. In fact, show of hands, how many Rotary EClub of One World members are here today? See, we got 1, 2, we got several Rotary EClub of One World members here. And what I wanted to also stress is it is not something you need to be afraid of. The technology is really user-friendly now. As mentioned earlier, GoToMeeting is one of the choices. We use Zoom like is being used today. Zoom is a piece of cake. If you have an internet connection and you can click on the link, you can join a Zoom meeting. And one of the neatest things that I have found in the last 3 months is that I had the opportunity to join 3 different Zoom meetings at which Rotary RI President Ian Risley was the guest speaker. And you could actually have some interaction with him. One of whom is my good friend, past District Governor Rudy Westervelt, who arranged for that, as well as he also arranged for a Zoom meeting with past RI President Cliff Doctorman. Pretty cool. Who else would have the opportunity to do that in a what I call a T club? You got the traditional or Terra clubs. We'll call you T clubs. So we have E clubs and T clubs. So that's another term I was going to introduce today. How's my time going, boss? Okay, well, then in that case, before I go though, 2 people I would like to thank is Rudy for putting this all together. It wouldn't have happened without Rudy, and he's a taskmaster. I'm sorry, Peter. Excuse me, my fellow Dutchman, Peter, and also my wife, who has supported me in Rotary over the last 38 years.
Okay, our next speakers will be talking about interesting subjects that Rudy is going to start off with. Rudy, go ahead.
Super. I'm going to give this a try. Can you hear me out there? All right, good. This is working then. This is one of 6 sets up here. So this is some of the things we get to connect with. As you can see here, you get an echo? Echo, 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 echo. Somebody mute your... There we go. That's better. No, you can't hear me now. Unmute me and I'm going to mute you. All right. I'll slow down. There we go. Hey, there we go. So I'm a member of the Rotary E-Club of World Peace. We started after the 2016 Presidential Peace Conference we put on in Ontario, California. After that, because we had 150 speakers there, experts in solutions, not just Rotarians, mostly not Rotarians, that presented on a variety of areas in peace. We said, what would happen if we carried this on with those experts with solutions to major issues happening in society today and form a Rotary Club out of that and bring them into Rotary? And so we started that club in 2016. And if I can get my slides to advance, we'll be in good shape. There we go. And so we started with 27 members or 26 members. We jumped up to 45. We're at 65 now. One of the ways we gain members is every week we have a new speaker, mostly not Rotarians, experts on a peace initiative. And the first thing we ask them is, are you a Rotarian? And they say, no. And I said, well, not yet. So we bring them into Rotary and bring them into our Rotary Club. And there we're getting another set of experts with some great solutions. You'll also see, I think that as an E-Club, it's a good way. We know traditionally, if you look around the room, we're seeing a lot of women in the room, which is a great thing. So carry on and keep coming into Rotary. But our population there is more women than men. So we're just over 50% or 51% women in our Rotary Club. And we certainly bring those strong solutions in. And so I think that's another great addition. We are international, and I think that E-Clubs put the word international in Rotary International. We're able to connect online here and see each other and really connect. And so if there's a problem in the Middle East, because we have members in Israel, Jordan, and Palestine, and something's happening over there, I can have a Zoom meeting with them and ask what's really happening on the ground. And if we need to work on a project together or needs, we can go to that electronically to that area and really connect with them. We are in 10 countries globally. We're also in 10 states of the United States. And so we're continuing to grow, like I said, in this area. On our website, our Rotary E-Club of World Peace.org, please go there. One of the areas on our website is members. Every member and their photo and their bio is on our website. And so you can go there and peruse the quality of the members in the club you're going to join and the experts. And so we help them share their solutions around the world with other people. We know that, and you'll have seen this a lot, a traditional club is located in one spot. We happen to be able to connect with the Zoom, or you can get in with a telephone. It's not quite as nice because you don't see each other's face, but you can join the meeting on the weekly meeting. We are now recording this meeting, which will go up on Peter's website later today. We record these. Every meeting we've had for 2 years is on our website. And so you can go watch those recordings. If you want to see Ian Riceley and listen to the questions that were answered by him, go there. If you want to hear Cliff Docterman, fine. If you want to hear another speaker that connects you, well, our agenda for a meeting is kind of like a typical meeting. Our president, who happens to be a film director, producer, he's been president for 2 years. He's the one that brought Sharon Stone. In fact, Sharon Stone's a member of our club. And to our conference in 2016. We do a roll call. We make sure everybody gets introduced, including guests. There is an inspirational moment. Then we have any current announcements that are happening in the club or happening in Rotary that we need to connect with. Then we go to the regular program. Then at the end, we have always time for about 10 minutes of questions or more before we adjourn the meeting. on our meeting tab. This is our website up there, so you see the meetings tab. From there, you can click on the Zoom link and go directly to our meetings. Also on there are our photo and bio of all of our speakers. The one you see up there on the right, Janessa Gans-Wilder, is a former CIA operative. And she came back and found out that created her Euphrates.org organization to have other to brother, that we're really human beings on the planet, and it's another better way to connect than fighting wars. All the meetings, again, are recorded, and they go up on our website for the review of weekly meetings. We also put out a newsletter. In fact, my wife's over here in the audience. She's our president-elect until her computer crashed last week, so when I get home from here, I got to get her a new computer. But she does our newsletter as well. We maintain the website, and we're able to connect that way. And so for us, it's a great way to reach out and connect locally and globally. People are able to go on our website, they hear a speaker we have, and we have traditional club members coming into our club to meet with those as well as other online people. So that's the form we have for our online meetings. They are Tuesday nights, Pacific time, 6:30 p.m. We also have that same challenge because in the Middle East, that's 4:30 in the morning. But you know, we record those meetings so they can get to them, and we're working on a satellite time or additional time that they could meet from the Middle East for that group. Do I have time for one or two questions?
After Martin.
After Martin, okay. Martin, take it away. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. Unmute yourself, Martin.
Thank you. That's great. Can you hear me okay, everyone? Yeah? Okay. I'm going to talk to you today about one of the techniques that we use. So good day, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow Rotarians. My name is Martin Brocklebank, and I'm the founder of the EClub of East Anglia in the UK. I hope your convention has started well, and I shall now share my screen with you. All being well. Okay. I'm honoured today to talk to you from sunny Norfolk in the UK. It's just gone 6:45 here, and it's still sunny and hot, thank goodness. I gather from the Facebook messages that it's been a bit rainy over there. I'm going to share with you how our eClub uses technology via the internet to connect, collaborate and communicate with our members efficiently, 24/7, 365. We don't think of a one-week meeting. Our members actually think in real time, and they do their Rotary as and when they want, 24/7, 365, although we do have a speaker meeting once a month. And before I do that, though, I'd just like to give you an overview of our club. Okay, our club was chartered, as you can see, with 33 members in 2014. It was May 2014, so just over 4 years ago. And since then, we've actually done quite a few achievements. We started, though, with the blind leading the blind, and our journey has actually led us to achieve a number of things. And each year, we grow stronger with the technology and with the sharing of knowledge and information that we can have from all of our members and guests. Okay. As I say, we meet 24/7, 365, and that will become a bit clearer as we go along. You'll have seen this model several times, and that's because it actually underpins most of the things that we do. In general, a traditional club does its Rotary in the same place and same time, whether it's in a supermarket shaking a tin or at their club each week eating a meal. An eClub is actually much more multi-dimensional in that it does its Rotary both live and on demand. It does its Rotary either in a fixed location in small groups or anywhere in the world. We've got members in Japan, China, right the way through to Brazil and Nepal. And as I say, this model actually underpins all that we do. And as you can see, the workplace intranet, which is what I'm going to talk about today, actually spans most of the blocks of that model. Workplace is a software platform. And it's a software platform that is used in various ways, as I say, to connect and collaborate and communicate, share knowledge to get things done. Our members can plan projects, keep in contact by message, post, live video, anywhere, anytime with any device. They can share documents and even collaborate with each other or outside organisations from one place. Workplace even translates from other languages automatically if people communicate in another language. So if we look, we can see that there is a number of things you can post, you can poll, we can share documents and translate. This looked a little complicated, but the one thing I would say is for some examples, Workplace uses the Facebook framework privately, so it's very familiar to most of our members. So our coffee pot is our general chat room, which is a group, and as you can see, I'm not sure whether you can see the reading on there, but in essence, we've got a member in Yorkshire who is appealing for help for a member in Nepal with computer batteries. We sourced them, and but transit in the UK restrictions meant that we couldn't send them from the UK. However, we do have another member who lives in the UK but works in Qatar, and he took them in order to send them to Qatar. So that solved a problem pretty quickly, all in the space of a few messages. Philip sent out an urgent appeal because he wanted to organise aid to Syria with our members and shelter box, so an appeal was made. But on a lighter note, the President wished two of our members a happy birthday, Malcolm and Adrian. They're not a couple, but they're two members in our club, and he just wished them a happy birthday because he could. And this is all on our intranet and not to a public place. Okay. As I've said, we can chat, we can share things. Just bear with me to my timer off. We can chat. We can even do our Zoom video conferences through the Workplace itself. Okay. We can install popular things like SurveyMonkey, Dropbox for us to be able to share and collaborate. So in summary and in essence, we can use the intranet to actually do our Rotary business anytime, anywhere. And in essence, we do more than a traditional club in that way because we use that technology in order to create a virtual working virtually for a better reality. And hopefully that's given you an insight, a rather quick insight, because it's quite a big subject. If you've got any questions, then thank you for listening.
Okay, we have time for 2 questions. Anybody, any questions for Martin or Rudy? Yes. Myra, where are you? Myra, there.
Hi, my name is Denise Wadsworth. I'm currently the president of the Rotary Club of San Marino. My question is only this. This is our second meeting together as Rotary International attendees, and I have yet to see the 4-way test be recited. It was not recited at the Rotaract pre-convention last year or this year. It's not been recited at any of our keynotes or our opening. It hurts my heart because I run Interact clubs. So help me understand that. If I joined an E-Club, would we be more likely to recite a 4-way test?
Perhaps, Rudy, I could actually just make a comment on that. E-Clubs are much more flexible in what they do, and what we've learned through a long period of time is that if an E-Club follows exactly the same model as a traditional club, then it doesn't usually work as effectively. That doesn't mean to say that we don't follow the 4-way test. We do. In fact, I recently designed a new 4-way test banner for us to be used online. But we don't do things like, we don't have toasts, we don't have recitals. We actually get on and do Rotary in a modern way. That's not to say that we don't respect the rules of Rotary and the 4-way test, etc. So I can assure you we do respect it.
Thanks, Martin. Myra?
My question relates to the fact that we are across many countries, yet we are still associated with one particular district. And I'm interested to know how we manage to work in with district in these cases. And is there an issue with this particular situation?
Okay, I'll take that one, Martin. No, we are connected with a district, and the reason we're connected with a district as we set these up is because it really follows our giving to the Rotary Foundation that creates DDF back in our district. And if we were just out there in the cloud somewhere, we wouldn't be able to use the money that we donate to the Rotary Foundation. So that's why we're really tied with that district. And often our clubs have a lot of people, a lot of members close in proximity to the district, although they may not live necessarily in the district or in a certain geographical area. But we do make district conferences. We've got several members here. We've got 7 or 8 members here from our E-Club from around the world joining us here today at the convention. We also were up in Vancouver at the Presidential Peace Conference that happened up there. So it's really, we connect with the training, and we're developing Rotary Leadership Institute training to have that online so we can do online Rotary training for our members. And we'll work that with some other E-Clubs.
Thank you. Okay, our next 2 speakers are not here. And, but that doesn't go like that in the virtual world. So our next 2 speakers are members of hybrid clubs. Andy DeWitt is in Northeast Wisconsin, and John Clements is in Australia, and he's a nomad, so we don't really know where he is in Australia. Andy, I will unshare, and you can start your presentation.
Thank you, Peter. Hi, everyone. I'm Andy DeWitt, and I can see you in Toronto. Hello, everyone. First, I'd like to start off with what you've already heard about hybrid clubs. By definition, our definition of what a hybrid club is we are like a traditional E-Club. If you use that word for E-Clubs, we are traditional. We do a lot of our communications by digital means, internet. But we have, as part of our normal club process, scheduled times for face-to-face meetings with our club members. That's what makes a hybrid club a hybrid, because we do have some scheduled face-to-face.
Andy, can you share your screen?
Yes.
Then we can see the pictures.
Okay.
Please.
So, to describe the different kinds of E-Clubs there are, I'm going to show you how our club operates. Northeast Wisconsin E-Club, I'm in Oshkosh, Wisconsin right now. We meet online using Zoom meetings like a lot of the clubs do, in Facebook groups, but we do have scheduled face-to-face meeting times. All of our members are located in or near Oshkosh, Wisconsin, which makes us a little bit unique from some other E-Clubs in the world, because we're pretty much co-located in the same area. So we are a version of a hybrid club. There's lots of different processes there. You've seen this before, and I will be going through how our meeting goes through the month. And different weeks, we're in these different quadrants, using different tools to communicate and do our club business, to do our Rotary. First Thursday of the month, we have our live streaming speaker. So that's the same time, different place. Speakers can be anywhere in the world and join us. We start our meetings, that meeting 5:30 p.m. live local time. But we also record it for those members who can't make it, so they can watch it some other time. In the month of June, my cohort, John Clements, was our speaker. The month before that was Peter. So we can have speakers from anywhere in the world, one of the advantages of E-Clubs. So that's how we do first Thursday. The second Thursday of the month, we use Facebook discussion group. And this is a closed session, which is a different time, same place, because we're all in the same group session. And we have discussions about club business that second Thursday of the month. So we talk about our service projects, our fundraisers, social planning, and things like that. And what we do is we start the topics at the beginning on a Thursday, and they stay open until the following Thursday. So we expect members to log in anytime during that week to add their comments and we discuss the issues. The third Thursday is when we do our face-to-face meeting, which is same place, same time. We meet at 5:15 at a local bar, restaurant for cocktails and hors d'oeuvres. Of course, that's the meeting for fellowship, networking, relationship building. That's the meeting where we bring in new members to see everybody, meet everyone. It's an advantage of having that co-locating part of our process. The fourth Thursday, we go back to a Facebook discussion group. This is a public discussion now. And we talk about Rotary topics. We've had updates on Polio Plus. We've talked about service projects other clubs are doing around the world. This year, starting in July, we are going to go to a format called basically like a Rotary Minute, except it'll be like 30 minutes long. We'll talk about an aspect of how Rotary started, the first service project by Rotary Club in Chicago, and things like that to give some background. We have over half our members are brand new to Rotary. So we're going to use this session to kind of give them a background of all the different things that Rotary does. The fifth Thursday, when it happens, we do a mini service project, we call it. Same place, same time. We meet right after work on that Thursday. And like last month, May 31st, was the fifth Thursday of the month. We did a cleanup of a hiking trail here in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Some of the things we've done in those mini projects is we made a meal for a women's shelter. We've stocked shelves at a food bank. So we do these little quick mini projects when the fifth Thursday occurs. And like all clubs, we have our main service project, which we call Book Bridges, which is a variation of the Dolly Parton Book Club, where we provide books for kids in Oshkosh area. We also work very closely with the other two traditional clubs in Oshkosh, working on joint service projects that we do together in Oshkosh. So going back to the matrix, as again, same place, same time is our face-to-face meetings, our mini service projects. We do our live streaming, which is a different place, but at the same time. Facebook discussion groups twice a month, where we do where everyone's in the same place, but it's on demand, as Martin talks about it. And of course, in between, we're using email and text messaging and direct messaging to communicate with each other. So that's how we do Rotary, is a variation. What makes us kind of unique is because we're in the same co-located, and there are other EClubs that kind of does the same thing, but we're just one variation of EClubs. And I'm going to unshare here. And John, here's the rest of your notes right here.
Thank you very much, Andy. Much appreciated and well done. Okay. Yeah, my name's John Clements, soon to be the past president of the Rotary EClub of Australian Nomads. Or as we're better known down under, the Rotary Nomads. And it's currently 3:31 a.m. Tuesday in Normanville, South Australia, the bottom and middle of Australia where I live. Our membership base consists of people very new to Rotary at one end of the spectrum.
Can you share your screen?
I do need to share my screen. Technology is very good when...
It's upside down most of the time.
Is that the right way up this time? Good. So thank you. Yes, technology works when it's good when it works. So our membership base consists of people very new to Rotary at one end of the spectrum to very experienced Rotarians at the other end. Partners of people who are members of other Rotary clubs. These people get their face-to-face Rotary experience at home and can maintain their Rotary interest while they are travelling. We have over 60% female membership, and in reference to a question earlier, many of our members do not live within the physical boundaries of our district 9630. We are a hybrid club, and that's why I'm speaking after Andy. We meet weekly at this stage online using the Zoom platform.
Keep talking in the mic, okay? You fade at times.
Righto, thanks. So we meet weekly using Zoom as we are using now. We also meet at various locations around Australia. at what we call musters. These musters can last from a few days to 2 weeks. We just finished a 10-day muster. They're usually organised well in advance and carefully planned, and they can be small groups or bigger groups. Here again we see that at Matrix, it's been referred to a few times. The best part of our Zoom meetings are that you can have a wine, and I'm often sitting in bed with my computer on my lap when we have our meetings. Biggest inhibitor for us is when people are travelling and they're in a place where there's no internet service. We rely heavily on the internet to have our Zoom meetings, but a large proportion of Australia is not served by the internet as it's so sparsely populated. As has been referred to a couple of occasions earlier, this afternoon, our meetings are recorded so that people who cannot get online at the time of the meeting can find out what happened at a later time. We do have one international person who lives overseas at the moment. And you can see there which part of the grid we work in. We do service work in our local community, a community that we are visiting at musters in different size groups. We've certainly had a lot of fun and will continue to do so. And we certainly make a difference. We're no different to other Rotary clubs in that respect, in the service work that we do. We began as a satellite club, as many clubs do, the Rotary Club of Jindalee, which is a suburb of Brisbane, in June 2014. 3 Rotarians were going away on an extended RV holiday, and they wondered how they would cope without Rotary involvement. This slide shows the nomads in March 2015, when we celebrated our charter at the central location of Broken Hill in New South Wales. Our president's in the light shirt. He wanted to be a little bit different. We currently have 43 members, and the population basis of Australia is indicative of where those markers are. This map shows where we all live. We're not on the road all the time. Most of us have homes, while a few are much more mobile in their vans or motorhomes. Over 90% of our members own an RV or a caravan, but it's not a prerequisite for joining. As I said before, we have one member who lives overseas. He lives in Chicago for 6 months, Helsinki for 6 months. He's from Western Australia, but his working life is overseas at the moment. This next map shows where we've held service work or musters in the past couple of years, and you can see a couple of service projects overseas with Rorke's groups. And I live down the bottom middle of Australia, where that blue marker is, south of Adelaide. We all know communication, as has been pointed out before, is pretty vital in all Rotary clubs, but more so when members are scattered and in EClubs. We have an online travel calendar, keeps track of members and where they go. We have a very strong, well-set, organised agenda for our weekly club meetings, and this is followed by our weekly newsletter. We call it the Bulletin. We have some terrific guest speakers, as many Rotary clubs do, on Rotary and non-Rotary programs, and those people can live anywhere in the world. We also use Facebook extensively for member chat and public relations. And there's our website for future reference. It'll be on the recording, and that banner, we have several of those which we display when wherever we're working. Here's some examples of some local working bees that I'll just refer to. The Rotary Club of Townsville Sunrise in far north Queensland did a red socks project, and that's my shoes and my feet. And that red socks project was for prostate cancer. The Rotary Club of Chinchilla in Western Queensland, we helped there several of our members, and you can see about a dozen people helped at a local festival. And down the bottom you can see a kids fun run, the Rotary Club of Emerald in Victoria, where several of our members got to raise money, and that particular situation was for autism. In 2016-17, and in the current Rotary year just finished, we've given away over 20,000 Australian dollars to various charities, and many of them are listed there. And it was interesting to hear Andy just talk about Food Bank in the previous talk. As our club's evolved, we've not only supported other Rotary clubs, but we've managed to raise funds for our own charities. The Royal Flying Doctor service is a national air ambulance service that provides emergency first aid assistance anywhere in Australia, air transport, and we've supported them financially since our inception. Our motto there, helping hands across the lands. One of the most enjoyable features is our musters, and here's a group of people 12 months ago at our changeover, and a group of people at the Henley on Todd Dry River Red races in Alice Springs. We had races against other homemade boats, and one year, unfortunately, that event was cancelled because the river wasn't flowing. At musters, we socialise. As I said before, we've just finished a 10-day muster in northern New South Wales. We many of our members are part-time workers or retired. We do lots of other things there that you can see listed. And at our last muster, we did some more technology learning. We have some very good people in technology in our club, and some not so good. We have nice, friendly competition between northerners and southerners, as happens with countries and states in other countries. There's quite a deal of interstate rivalry, and that's exemplified there. You can tell the weather. The southern muster was cool. The northern muster, everyone's got just shirts, no jumpers. And these musters are the highlights of our year. I hope you've enjoyed the presentation. If you want to know anything else about how we operate, hopefully Alison Hodges, one of our members, is in the audience. Alison, are you there? Fantastic. Maybe a bloke called Paul McNeil, also from our club, is there as well. Paul, raise your hand if you're there. If you're interested in finding a bit more, speak with one of them. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening.
Okay, we have time for 2 quick questions again. Anybody has a question? Go ahead.
Hello. I'm concerned and would like to learn more about...
Can't hear you. You have to speak loud.
Okay. Okay. Is this better? Is this better? I'd like to know for any e-clubs that are geographically dispersed, in other words, the members are not located in a similar location, how do you do fundraising?
I can answer that perhaps. Yeah, we live all over the eastern half of Australia, and we develop relationships with local clubs. We went to, as I said, the Alice Springs Dry River Red race. We provided many service hours of work with the 20 or so of our members that were there, and they gave us a donation. We went to Mount Isa for Outback Queensland for a rodeo, provided hundreds of service hours amongst the 18 or so members that were there for 3 days, worked non-stop all day, and they gave us $5,000. It is about setting up relationships with local clubs. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to work at it, and we didn't quite understand how it would work, but it's evolved very nicely.
Prime example of how innovative Rotarians can be. One more question, Myra.
Okay, this is Todd Brandenburg. I'm from the Walla Walla, Washington Noon Rotary Club. I just have a question about due structures and how you do that on EClubs, and wondering if you could share a little bit from both of your perspectives how that works.
Andy, you want to take the dues?
I'll take it first. Our quarterly dues are $85. That includes our district and international fees. Our because our overhead costs, because we don't provide meals or anything, so it keeps our costs very low. And so our only operating costs we have is for our website and for our technology or Zoom license that we pay for on an annual basis. So there's one advantage of an EClub. Our dues are $85 US per quarter. So it's pretty economical. We just cover basically the district and international portion of membership.
Thanks. John, you have any comments?
Yeah, our dues are, we have to pay out about $300 a member a year. Our members pay to the club $200. So we're subsidising our members by $100 through our, and again, we don't have the meal fees and that sort of stuff and the traditional type fines we do at the musters, but we subsidise our members to the tune of $100 a year at this stage, and we get that money through lots of different ways. We have a Joker's Wild draw each week, and yeah, the subsidy is normal. We pay dues to our district and internationally, etc., the same as other clubs, but seem to be able to subsidise our members through different means.
Thanks very much, gentlemen. We are going to go on to the next set of speakers, our last set of speakers, and those are Rhonda. Eve is sitting here, but Rhonda is doing the speaking from the EClub District 7710, and Pepito will be talking on behalf, or he is a member of the Puerto Rico and Las Americas Club. They will be talking about the challenges and the advantages of EClub.
Good afternoon. I'm Rhonda Pierce with Rotary EClub at District 7710. I'm up here in case some of you are still looking at the screen. Okay, can you hear me? Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, so as Peter said, we are going to discuss the challenges and advantages of being an EClub. I'll share with you about 4 challenges that we hear constantly, are the perceptions. Some are actually threatened by us, as far as some clubs don't understand the structure of an EClub. Some of you may have come in today not really sure who we are or how do we work. And for some reason, that appears to be a threat. In some cases, some think that we're going to take their members. But they actually, Pepito will talk about the advantages, and you'll see why that's not quite the actual reality. So our physical attendance can actually be a challenge in the sense that I think it was Bushi it spoke about. Some people need that interaction on a regular basis, the physical. So we actually find that our district gatherings, our international meetings and assemblies, as well as fundraisers and service projects, can actually meet some people's needs. But in some cases, some people need more physical attendance or interaction. So another challenge, we've talked about dues, is the financial management actually can be a challenge. Where do you have your bank, right? If we're all global, where does your bank go? So that actually can pose a challenge to some. Changing signatures when people leave areas, looking at just the signing, having a backup in the area that you're located in. Dealing with tax laws from region to region and country to country, that can be a challenge. And in America, we're District 7710 is in North Carolina. So we have an issue with the 501c3. Most of us are 501e4s, but to be the nonprofit status, able to have people, for their tax purposes, that's something we have to pay into. So the club has to decide, is that something that we want to do? Do we want to take on that extra, responsibility. And the last one is a wide variety of participation and attendance can be overwhelming to members. Sometimes having the online chat, the email, the Facebook, the Zoom, the Skype, the blogs, all of these things can actually be overwhelming. Some people just like straightforward, go into their traditional meeting and come out. So discovering and nurturing members is what we find a challenge at times, again, with all of the different options that you have. But this is just some of the challenges. We're going to actually now switch over and talk about the advantages.
Good afternoon, everybody. You hear me? Good. Okay. Advantage of the EClub. You know, many people doesn't realize how or where or what we're going to do with an EClub, but really they have a lot of advantages. You can be in any place in the world and you can put an EClub. You can have members of any district in one club. It means that you can be in North Carolina or you can be in Puerto Rico, and you can have members from Puerto Rico belonging to the North Carolina, and we can have people in North Carolina belonging to Puerto Rico district. So that's one of the advantages that the district have to patronize an EClub in their district. It's less expensive. There is no food involved on a regular EClub. You just meet through, as I mentioned before, Zoom, WebEx, and there is another few other alternatives to meet. So the only thing you have to do is be there at the time that you decide to make the meeting. We invite people from everybody. We have people that comes, as was mentioned before, we have the president of Rotary International in one of the meetings. We can have any political person that we want to invite that will be willing to talk to the EClub members. So that's one of the biggest advantages. You really can have a very different type of meeting because you can invite so many different speakers. And really, it's not so difficult to put together an EClub. Many people get afraid because they're looking for a computer and they may be thinking that it's very difficult to do it, but it's very simple. And then after you have the club, the members can meet all alternatives. You know, they have the EClubs, and the EClubs can meet on the computer. It can meet on the telephone. It can meet on the iPad or any other instrument that has communication capabilities. So that's one of the big advantages of having an EClub. And of course, the people really doesn't like to get dressed. I have people in the club that just go in there and talk almost without nothing there and can participate in the meeting because they have a camera or they don't have a camera. They don't have to put a camera to run in order to be in the presence of the meeting. And you see there, we have one of the members here who is just have a picture of the member in the area here, but you don't see her. The makeups are incredible. You can make EClubs, makeups in any way that you can. You can be in a meeting and you can make makeups. And that I'm talking about other members. It doesn't have to be an EClub member. A regular member can be making attendance to any club, and it's exactly the same as you go to another regular meeting on a restaurant or something like that. In addition to that, the web page will allow you to really make attendance. You can go there and you can read articles like what happened on the previous meeting, and then you can submit that to the secretary of the EClub, and they will send you an attendance certificate that you can present to your club. So there is another advantage that the EClubs have that the other members normally doesn't have. And we have all kinds of people in the EClub. It can be regular workers, it can be professors, teachers, and retired people. And all of them will be meeting together. And especially, there's something that really I like of the EClub. There is a lot of Rotaracts members that are the new generation of Rotary that can be part of an E-Club or can put together an E-Club, both things. It can be part or it can be put together, because under the new rules of Rotary International, Rotaract members can belong to a club, to a regular, what we call regular, is not Rotaract club, a regular Rotarian club. So that will be a good opportunity to put together an E-Club, and at the same time get all these Rotaract that can like to become Rotarians and make it members of the E-Club and can continue with members of the Rotaract Club. So that's one of the biggest advantages that we have here. So we have all the alternatives that we need, and then what we have to do, it's very easily. The way that you can do it, access to the simple way, on demand, it's very easily. You can collaborate with others and you can make projects. That's one of the big issues and questions that they always ask me. How we can make projects? You know, we are in one place and we're in another place. And we can do projects with any other club, and we can make projects with the district in combination, and we can do anything that the other ones do. I mean, we don't have no restriction as a club to be a full Rotary club with all the benefits of making projects internationally and locally too. And very important, don't be shy. You don't need to be in face of the camera to make the club. Thank you very much. And I'm going to pass this now to Rhonda.
I just wanted to share with one of the participants here who asked a question about speaking or using the four-way test. This is just an example. This is an actual recorded session that we have. It's a program, and after our program, I hope that you can see it pretty well. This is a certificate thanking the person that presented. Okay, it's not showing. Okay, I'm not sharing, sorry. Okay, so this is a certificate. After the person did their program that evening, we recorded it. This is just showing you the certificate. And here, this is a recording, so I can't really show you, but this is the four-way test. So after we actually do the presentation, and then we thank the person for coming, we actually go through the four-way test. So just so you know, there are some of us that are pretty traditional in how we do our meetings. Yes.
Okay, thanks. We have first question. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is the past president, Amin Sohel. My district is District 3282, Bangladesh. I'm a member of the traditional club, not for E-Club. Actually, I came over here to learn about the E-Club. I don't have much experience about the E-Club. So the way Rotary International is encouraging, and you people are encouraging to have more E-Club. Are we waiting to have in future next 30 years or 50 years E-RA convention, E-district conference, E-district assembly? So there will be no face-to-face communication. I'm concerned about it.
No.
So I like to, this is my question for you. Are we waiting to have a E-RA convention? Thank you.
Okay, so I can only speak for myself. I don't see the E-Club taking over the traditional Rotary Club.
I don't know what the problem is. So.
Okay, sorry. The question was, is the E-Clubs going to actually start evolving to take over meetings, district meetings, and, you know, just no. Conventions and things like that. No, but I think, as we've said, it's an alternative. It's an option. You know, some people have spoken about the aging of Rotary. And there's Rotarians that today, they may have been 30 years strong, and today they can't drive anymore. Today they're not able to be engaged as they once were, but yet they're still full-heartedly Rotarians and want to still be engaged. This is that alternative for them. There are people like myself who travel all over the world and just cannot make that time to go to a traditional meeting. But this gives me the opportunity to stay engaged and be a Rotarian and continue to do the work. So I see it as an alternative. Yes, I do see increase because, again, to the district, we are a benefit. We, again, the makeups, the recordings, you cannot record. But the face-to-face and that one-on-one, people will always miss. So there'll be that option. We're also opportunity for attrition. If you have clubs, we always say we're 1.2 million strong, but we're not 1.3 or 2.0. Why is that not happening? This is an alternative to capture some of that attrition as well. So this is helping to grow Rotary as well as to just keep us strong.
Thank you, Rhonda. This is not a David and Goliath thing. I mean, there's 300 clubs, e-clubs in the world, and there's 35,000 THUR clubs. So this is just another way to keep people joined to Rotary, interested in Rotary, and still continue doing the same kind of work as Rotary's been doing for, you know, more than 100 years. Kitty, you have another question.
Jim Pierce, Hawley Rotary, Pennsylvania. What are the number of e-club members in Rotary at this time, and what are the membership trends?
Sorry, anybody hear the question? No, we have trouble hearing it. Can you repeat it? Right on.
No, phase one technology right here.
Yes.
How many e-club members are there in the world, and what are the trends at this time in membership in e-club?
Okay, there's close to 300 e-clubs. I do not know their how many they have, members there are in those e-clubs. One of the problems is I started this whole process about less than a year ago because we wanted to change our platform. And I did not get any cooperation from RI other than a spreadsheet with the clubs and their website address on it. So with the help of the e-club finder online, I contacted each and every website. And of those close to 300 at the time, there was about 30, 40 or so that I could not even get an email address from. And others I did get responses after I sent them emails. But you know, some of them are in all different formats out on the internet, which triggered me to look at opportunities to, you know, how we can do that. Hence why we're here. And so there is just a trend that will go, but this goes way beyond just the e-clubs. You will see more and more in the future this way of communication, just within districts and definitely within zones, etc. too. So one more question. Why don't you come up here? Come up here, Michael.
Yes, Peter, I do. Technology is our friend. Hi, I'm from the Bay Area, California. This has been a wonderful meeting. Thank you. We all love technology and to learn from the pros here. I guess my question is, my club is 95 years old. I'm not quite that old yet, but I do wonder, you know, having been membership chairman and now being incoming president, is it, you know, as an older club, it seems like the things we go through to have the high quality members, I'm wondering of what challenges or opportunities you have for having this great diversity of membership when you are doing a candidate selection process. Can anybody just share a couple things in terms of, do you get like something, a typed document and they give their response, or do you have to meet with people? Just tell us a moment about that.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So that was, how do we go through that process of approving members when we want them in our Rotary Club to make sure that they fit the Rotary four-way test, the Rotary ethics, and standards from that. And so for us, we expect to have a photo, bio. We talk to them. And often I mentioned in our case, it was our speakers. So they presented some solutions to the club. Our club has been growing at about 30% a year. And I think it's a great way to keep people in Rotary. We've got Rotarians that have moved, aren't able to stay in traditional clubs, so they come to us, so they have a background. And in that case, if we have a transfer member, then we'll talk to the club they're transferring from to make sure they are in good standing, that they paid their dues, or up to date on all their expenses over there before we bring them in the club. And then it requires a board approval to get a member into the club, just like it would a traditional club.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our presentation. I'd like to thank all the presenters and all the others that have participated. I put them up on the screen here.
Thank you for coming.
And this is a quote from Darwin that you will find in my signature whenever you get an email from me. See you online sometime. Thank you very much for your attendance.
Find it all online.
Okay. Okay. Hurry up, Dave. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Hello, everyone. Can everyone in the room hear me? Hi. Hello, everyone in the room. We need to ask you to clear out the room. We need to reset for the next session. The speakers are going to move out into the hall to continue the conversation with you. If you plan to stay for the next session,
Great being online with you guys. I guess we're getting cleared out of the room. Goodbye, I guess, from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Unless Peter's going to sign us off.
I'm going to hang around just to see what happens afterwards.
All right.
Just in case.
Yeah, at some point they're going to turn us off for sure.
Do what?
At some point they'll turn us off.
I'm sure they will. Yeah. What do you think to that, Philip and Andy?
I think it went pretty well. There's little hiccups, but way it goes.
Yeah.
But I think it was well, and I learned some things myself, which is good.
I think one of the issues for me was that I would have liked to have seen the screen, because then I would have known the stage and the screen. Then